All right. Hello, everybody. All right. We're going to give just a few more minutes. Let some little stragglers come in here. So we've got Darren and Tatiana on here, as you can all see.
Hi, everyone. Greetings from West Vancouver, British Columbia. Good to see everyone.
All right.
Just got a few people just texting me that are just coming in right now. There's been a few technical challenges with some people at their end, not our end, but they're coming in right now. So we'll get started here in just about 1 or 2 minutes. And yeah, if you've got access to a pad of paper or a pen, you may want to take some notes during this informative and educational event tonight. We're going to discover more about philanthropy, real estate investing, and how we can make a difference in the world by making a difference in people's lives and also getting handsome returns as well in a passive way. But tonight's going to be educational and informative. And then towards the end, we'll open up to question and answers. And so feel free throughout the educational event tonight to write down your questions on paper. And feel free, no matter what question you got, feel free to ask a question. And sometimes the question that you're thinking about that you might be scared or uncomfortable to ask, other people who are silent on this discovery call as well may have the same or similar question that you might be asking. So you consider that the question you ask could also be a contribution to somebody else's life in terms of their learning and their education on this educational webinar this evening. So appreciate everyone being here. Also want to introduce to everyone the love of my life, Tatiana Merciadis, who's in my life. She runs all the day-to-day operations of the Darren Jack Group of companies, and we do stuff internationally. We are real estate investors with different asset classes of real estate, and part of our holdings and our assets is Equity and Help. We own 10 properties in the United States of America through Equity and Help, and we love the cash flow returns, and we love to make a difference in people's lives. So again, tonight's here to educate you and inform you, and it will be interactive as we get towards the end there and open up to question and answer as well. But we want to educate you as we finish off the year 2020 and we start to transition into 2021. And you know, this has been a really interesting year for many people across the planet that have had to pivot personally and professionally in their lives. And us as entrepreneurs or self-employed people, or maybe you do this on a full-time or part-time basis as a real estate investor, maybe you're getting into real estate investing. And a question I want you to think about tonight and ponder is, do you want to be active or do you want to be passive in building out a real estate portfolio? No matter what size or what level do you want, what's most important to you as you design and develop the quality of your life and live life on your terms and spend time with things that matter most to you, maybe your family, your children, or hobbies, or church, or whatever it is for you, personally, professionally. You know, how much time do you want to invest and spend in terms of generating income to support your family and support your hobby and your lifestyle? And whether you want to be active or passive. And that's something I request that you take a look at this year as we come to an end here, you know, in less than 2 months away to the end of 2020, as you maybe reflect on 2020 and do a year in review. And as you start to transition and start to focus your dreams and goals and aspirations towards 2021, going into 2021, what are some things you want to stop doing in 2021 from 2020? And also, what do you want to do actively and also passively? Maybe it's time to transition and spend more time in your relationship or your family or your hobbies or your sports or things that you want to do, and put more things on autopilot, put more things in a passive way that's recurring. And so just some things to consider about. It's your life, how you decide to live it and ponder it. But I just want to plant some seeds in your mindset as you start to come and wrap up 2020 and go into 2021. How do you want to live and define your life actively or passively? So with that, you guys ready to get going, Skye and Tatiana?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much for that, Darren. So hello, everybody out there. Artie, Ben, Bruna, hello. Got Cheryl and Donnie, got lots of people coming in here. So for any of those latecomers, this will be recorded. This is we closed out for just those who registered prior to it starting, but you will get an access to this recording afterwards. But I'm really excited to be here this evening. So as Darren said, at the end of the year, things ramp up big time. Everyone's trying to deploy capital towards the end of the year. My lines are just blowing up with capital coming in, and with home sales have spiked to 28%, emptying out inventory, and we're just doing fabulous. You're going to see this opportunity exactly how we do that, why our clients are winning so much. You all are here because the connection you have, a absolutely fabulous connection with Darren and Tatiana. I love these two. Every time I look at them and talk with them, I can't help but just be super cheerful, and they bring a light to the conversation every single time. So, and as Darren said, you know, I heard a long time ago, and I've always loved this saying, the two most holiest things and phrases in the world: God's love and residual income, right? So I'm going to show you the turnkey company that we are, and the system we provide, and exactly how we go about doing that, okay?
And as we get into this, one thing I want you guys to all consider is, you know, what's your planetary assignment? How do you want to make a difference on this planet, maybe with your family, in your local community, across the province or state, or across the country, internationally? How do you want to make a difference? And maybe you're like Tatiana and I, you know, we are building financial wealth. We've committed, last year, we created a private family foundation here in Canada, and we've committed $100 million over the next 10 years towards global philanthropy projects. And I'll drop the link here as well that you can check out. But what we've done is, as we build out our wealth portfolio of financial assets, one of the things that we look at is how can we make a ripple of impact in a positive way into humanity, whether it's with the oceans, it's with animals, it's with people, whatever it is for you that lights you up and inspires you and your family. And so as Skye unfolds this tonight in an educational, informative way, just think about going to, you know, this year, how you could maybe participate in what we're doing and add this into your portfolio, but also the difference you're going to make in people's lives. Because Tatiana and I are all about creating generational wealth. And something that we're also looking at is how do we create a 250-year legacy plan? 3 generations, 250 years. So I want you to think at a high level today, really, that maybe in 2020 you played a really big game, but maybe you're playing really too small. And maybe it's time with this special invitation tonight with Julie Hoffman and Jeff that you're here today. Maybe it's a divine appointment that you're here today to learn how you can finish 2020 strong and transition to 2021 really, really big. So Skye, looking forward to you educating us tonight.
Yes, thank you very much, Darren. So myself, you saw the bio and the registration. I've been in the real estate industry for 15 plus years. I've done everything you can imagine, door to door. I've done phone sales, the marketing side, licensed loan officer, real estate sales associate. I've done multifamily. I've helped deploy tens of millions of dollars in capital when I lived in Southern California to when I took some tax advantages and moved to Puerto Rico, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. I've never have been involved with such a philanthropic activity as this, and you will see that throughout this period. So without further ado, I am going to, I think we've got everybody in here at the moment, so I'm just going to get underway. Okay.
With the fluctuating change and stability of the American economy, investors have found themselves confused at where to invest their money. Trust is the #1 factor when it comes to cash flow and understanding security of passive income and investing. There is a system that has been developed that is not only secure, but is turning investors into philanthro investors. Investors with ethics, integrity, and the viewpoint that helping families achieve their American dream is still very much alive in the United States today. Equity and Help is a company founded on integrity, ethics, and help. The focus is purely on the concept of helping families move into stable homes, save neighborhoods, and for investors achieve cash flow that is stable and secure. Imagine putting your money to good use and helping families all the while making a passive income. That is Equity and Help, restoring faith in investing and giving help to families all across America. Learn more and become a philanthro investor at equityandhelp.com.
Yeah, all right. So quite often when people move into talking with me, trust is a huge factor, of course. They want to check me out. They want to check the company out. They want to check out the founder. So I like to get right to that. Our founder is Ivan Ans. He's been an entrepreneur since the age of 7, believe it or not. And he had his first bank-funded company at the age of 14. And he had his first international business at the age of 19. Okay. Trained in Japanese business culture. Of course, he owns like 3 or 4 Toyota dealerships in South America. And due to that, you know, obviously being trained in the Japanese and Toyota and stuff like that, sells in companies over $30 million in revenue. Very very purpose-driven individual. For any of you, those of you who have met him, you will absolutely say the same. 35 years old, married for 11 years to a fiction writer, health coach. He's a published author. And a little bit later on, you'll actually see a video that I'm going to play so you can see his beingness and get to see him and things like that. So Equity and Help, there's a lot of different investment vehicles out there. So what we are specifically is we're a turnkey system, a company that helps investors who want to deploy capital in the residential real estate market in the United States. Okay. We provide double-digit returns. I'll go over some numbers a little bit later on, but as our third quarter of this year, our median portfolio performance is 10.89% net. So we're doing really, really well at that. Our mission, very mission-driven company. We absolutely, there's a lot of different things that we want to, ties that we want to shift in the U.S. and investment world. But one of those definitely we want to show investors that you can make money. You can make and grow your capital. You can make cash flow in an intelligent way that actually betters society. Not just robbing Peter to pay Paul, but you can actually use it to better society. And any of those, you know Darren, know Tatiana, you know that. Many of you are doing that already. That's exactly what we're doing. Okay, so by investing with Equity and Help, you make money like a bank. Okay, we're going to replicate the success out there. If you want to be successful, just replicate success. Shorten that learning curve. Okay, you don't have to go to the school of hard knocks. Be intelligent and learn from those out there. So the mortgage industry, the finance bankers have set up the system. Replicate that. Leave out any of the bad stuff that they might do. So I want to clear up philanthropy, because believe it or not, some people might have a bad connotation with that. We're not talking about charity here. I'm not talking about, we are one of the largest investors in our company. I'm not talking about giving away our money. Okay, we're not talking about giving away your money. Philanthropy, Merriam-Webster defines it as an active effort to promote human welfare. Okay, and that's what we simply want to do. Active, okay, active effort to promote, to better human welfare. Okay, so the various problems we solve, these were what was isolated. On the investor side, we have maybe about a third, 30-35% of our investors have experience in the speculative investment world. Okay, and all the stress and all the work that comes with that. And you get into this industry thinking you're going to just be an investor, whether you're a day trader, whether you're this, whether you're that. You're either going to spend a lot of time staring at a computer screens, multiple, 5, 8, 10 screens at a time sometimes, or you're paying someone else huge sums of money to do that for you. Okay, and even if you're making huge gains, you're making huge losses. I've experienced that. Our founder Ivan's experienced that, and you might have experienced that as well. Now, another large portion of our investors come from real estate. They've been a landlord. The current system. Okay, I'm going to put 10 properties under my belt. And I know these are, I put some drastic pictures up here, but believe it or not, I have plenty of people say that they've had this happen. Okay, they've had a tenant upset, kick holes in the wall, and you had to deal with that, or you buy a property and the rehab costs and various things like that, or the trash outs, because hoarders, crazy how many hoarders actually exist out there. And a 2-year P&L, profit and loss reports, does not look as sexy as you think it does. I see them. I have plenty of them. I'll email them, some of them to you. And they're definitely not as good as you might think they might be. So again, about a third of our investors have got that experience as well. And I can refer 100 plus of them over to you to talk with. Another factor we solve, some of our investors have got that Midas touch. Okay. They're making money. That's not the problem. But a little bit later on in life, quite often, it's naturally we want to be a little bit more philanthropic. We start evaluating our lives and we start looking at what we've done, and we want to start giving back. But one, there's no reason to wait. Our company helps put that in there where you're actually giving back, and it's a fulfilling, so fulfilling. Like Tatiana and Darren, I'm involved with a lot of humanitarian efforts, have helped actually put together a mission in Tanzania recently. I've done wells, I've done stuff in South Sudan on blood drives. I've done a lot of different work. I'm involved with that. My wife and I together have 6 kids. So I'm either working I'm being a dad, or you can find me doing some kind of philanthropic, humanitarian, disaster relief stuff. And it's so fulfilling. That's one of the best ways to measure a man's worth is what is he giving back to society, right? So we do fit in the area of impact investing or socially responsible investing. Huge, huge subjects. Okay. 6 months ago when I originally Googled this, it was like at 26 million results. Now it's actually well over 200 million. And that's that area that we do fit into. Now that's on the investor side of the coin. Now on the other side of the coin, on the family side, the fact is majority of families are never going to own their own home. Okay. This here is a graph that actually will show you, this is with inflation figured in. Okay, in 1965, you used to be able to buy a house $20,000. Okay, I don't know some of the ages of some of you on here, but some of you might remember buying houses back someplace back in here. I remember buying a house back here in the early 90s. This is 1990 right here, 127,000. What happened? It continued to just tick, 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 tick all the way up. Okay, and this is actually even just 2010. But what happened? So a 996% increase in the home value. What happened is the wage growth stayed down here in this 5.34% growth. Okay, so you had this huge disparity happening that's contributing to families, coming from South SoCal area, Southern California. I don't know how a single guy or a married guy is looking to buy a house anymore. I left for good reason, but it's super difficult across many areas. I know real estate in different parts of Canada and the US are just outrageous right now. So along with that, according to FICO, 50% of individuals have a credit score that disqualifies them for a traditional mortgage. I know this to be a fact, being a licensed loan officer. 51% of Americans make less than $30,000 per year, according to the Social Security Administration. Now, this is a factor here I'm going to repeat a couple different times. This is something that is a marker that we look to beat. The U.S. average rent is about $1,500 right now, $1,468. Okay, our average P&I is about $500, $550. Okay, I'll cover this in detail later on, but that's a huge factor why people are loving why we're selling out of all of our properties, especially in economic times like these right now when belts are getting tightened. People are looking for, help, and they're coming to us for help, and they like it. We have 1,200 leads we're generating every single week in markets we don't even have houses in. So people are wanting our properties. So, and there's all of these contribute to that. Adam Data Solutions, average down payment for a house 2018 was $14,000. That's only the down payment. That's not closing costs and all their stuff. So you're looking at about $20,000 to initially get into purchasing a home there. Okay, we've got a lot of other figures. How long it takes to buy a house now compared to 1960s, even buying a truck. I've got lots of these inflationary figures, and I'm a numbers guy. I was telling Darren just prior to this, definitely a numbers guy. Okay, graphs, Excel's one of my favorite, and Access, one of my favorite little programs. And this is, I don't belabor the point too much because I think all of us understand that factor. So a lot of those points are contributing to families asking for help, period. Okay, which leads to, if any of you have actually used the Google Scholar, you can look at that. The term that they use here is psychological housing instability. Okay, and about 181,000 results at this time, but you can see, the difference between a rental situation from a stable home ownership environment, kids' stress, kids' education, their schoolwork, their dropout rate, divorce rates, suicide rates. Just feel free to Google it and start looking through these. And so this is, again, one of the butterfly effect, the things that we're looking to, a byproduct of what we're doing, that we are going to have an impact on. Okay, we already are. I see the testimonials. I see the success stories from the families. I'll be sharing some of them. And so that's definitely just, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but it definitely, that philanthropic, what we're doing for families is equity and help, on a real scale, not some small, our immediate targets, just 10,000 families. That's a drop in a bucket. Look here in between 2008, 2010 housing crash, this is the number of foreclosures per quarter that were hitting the market. This is where we buy our properties, REO properties. It spiked up to 100,000, okay? And it dipped down here quite a bit. I have an updated figure as of last summer, but still, let's just call it 50,000 properties per quarter. So the fact that we want to hit 10,000 is a drop in the bucket. That's the start. That's 0.0, right? And this is something that we're opening up this opportunity to others. Could we do it ourselves? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Will the pace be as fast as needed? Absolutely not. Once we have it figured out, we can offer this opportunity to others. And this is where I'm at. This is my job, to offer this opportunity to simply show you what's happening, what they're finding, what clients are finding, the performance. I'm just a showman. I show portfolios. I show the bottom line, the top line. I'll show you the worst portfolios. Our worst last year was 8.53% net. We're outperforming other investment vehicles by double in a worst portfolio. All right, so moving on. We only buy single family properties, no condos, no townhouses. These are actually some properties that we've purchased. Okay. And that's what we want to fix up. I'm going to go back here real quick. So imagine these prior to us being in them, doing the setup on them, a family being in them, overgrown, being broken in, squatted in. These are blighting neighborhoods. So we're bringing up the appreciation level as well, not only just the house, but the neighborhood. Okay. So with all those various problems, the Philanthro Investor Program was born. Okay. Got lots of testimonials. For the sake of time, I can share these. Again, you'll have the recording of this. I'm going to stop just a moment so you can read it or pause it in the video, but I'll skip through it for right now. I do want to play this one though. It's Art. And yeah, hear it from Art. He's one of our clients. Got a decent.
My name is Art Newman.
portfolio.
I'm basically retired. I was owner of a business and I sold it and I invested with Equity and Help. Well, a friend of mine told me about Equity and Help and I met Ivan, the founder, and I was very impressed. Just the attitude of everybody. They're so inspired and motivated. It's not just like a job for them. And that was very impressive. I did a lot of research. By far, Equity and Help was the most stable with the best possible return because your investments are backed by real estate. And no matter what happens in the economy, you still have your investment in real estate. And I haven't found anything come close to Equity and Help. The return percentage is much higher than anything, and it's very solid, secure, backed by real estate investment. The most important thing to me is having confidence in the integrity and the competence of the company. Extremely high integrity. They do everything they say. I never had been to Europe before investing with Equity and Help, and I've gone there several times. Went to Stonehenge in London and Paris. It's been amazing. I'm extremely happy and satisfied, more than satisfied. It's actually allowed me to basically retire. I would recommend Equity and Help to anybody who's looking to invest money, and everybody that I brought in, investors that I brought in, they've been extremely happy, and they thank me for letting them know about Equity and Help.
Yeah. Go Art. So the various philanthro investing benefits, okay? We obviously help families, cash flow, capital growth. One thing that I do for all my job is everything from due diligence all the way through the initial onboarding as the director of philanthro investing. And I lay out that strategy with each one of my clients that come in here. So whether it's cash flow or you're just reinvesting, and you're looking to grow that capital for legacy planning, you're putting in a trust for your kid, you're just wanting to grow, whatever the strategy is for you. These are things that I work with my clients on. Obviously, secure retirement backed by real estate. Got a lot of 401k transfers coming in right now. I think the average throughout the U.S. might be like a 4.2% return. So again, it's a no-brainer on moving over to us from that. passive income, financial freedom, hassle, work-free vacations, financial security, stability, build wealth for future generations. As I mentioned, real estate-backed investments. This is a system you will have to be involved with on the decision and what properties to purchase, what to be done with the properties, various things like that. But as a trustee, you can count on us to do that work, whatever's needed, okay? So again, we want you to be the bank. We want you to be that guy in the middle, rather than being out here on the eddies, and we want you to be here in the middle and being the financier, okay? That's where our clients are at. All right, so we are headquartered in the Tampa Clearwater area. I'm literally looking out, and it's dark at the moment, but I'm literally looking at Clearwater Beach for any of those that have been here. That's literally the causeway right there, Clearwater Beach. It's a tough view to deal with. Founded in 2014, and A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, which is getting harder to maintain, but it is there. Second year, Inc. 500. Actually, this year, number 83. Actually, Inc. 100 company. We're number 3 in the nation for real estate, and we're about a 3,900% growth over 3 years. So doing not too shabby. Investors come from 16 different countries. I believe it is now close to, just in the headquarters here, close to about 30 employees. And since none of you are here at the moment, I am going to show you, this is the video where you get to see the founder, Ivan, and get to see the building itself and the pace and the space.
What we're doing here is unique. We're reinventing certain wheels, and that takes a lot of drive and a lot of attention, knowing that what we're trying to create or what our goals are actually going to matter, are really important.
So the thing I love most about this team is that I know I can count on them. If there's a job that needs to be done, no one's thinking it's not their responsibility or that someone else is going to do it. They're there, and we're as a team making it happen.
It's, if you have an issue or you need to get something done, they will be there to help you.
They are willing to run the extra mile when the company actually needs it.
And I'm not here just to make another buck. I'm not here just to flip a hamburger. I'm here to actually, make a difference.
My name is Ivan Ans. I am the founder and CEO for Equity and Help, and the author and creator of the Philanthro Investor Phenomenon. The purpose of Equity and Help is to revert home ownership status starting in this country.
One of Ivan's qualities is that anytime he's in an elevator, he will tell the person, no matter who they are, about equity and help.
Ivan is an incredibly dynamic person. He wants to help as many people as he can, and that's really why the company was created in the first place.
My executives, they are actually much more than executives. They are family for me, and they are real, true friends.
My name is Angelica Gomez. I'm the Senior Vice President of Operations at Equity and Help.
My name is Austin Kerr. I'm the Senior Vice President of Administration for Equity and Help.
My name is Jaime Gomez. I am the CFO, Chief Financial Officer on Equity and Help.
My name is Charlotte Wallet, and I'm the Director of Easy Homes. I help families get into homes.
Trust operations is the area that focuses on delivering the product to our philanthro investors and handling the families and qualifying the families.
When investors buy properties with us, we put the homes into trust.
The reason why we call it a trust operations department is because a trust is a legal document that owns things, and everything that we do with our product is as the role of trustee, which is the physical embodiment of that document.
Making sure not only the family is cared for, because there's a whole section just for making sure the family's taken care of, but make sure the property and obviously the beneficiary being the investors and Equity and Help as a trustee is all taken care of. So everything hinges on the trust operations.
So I work with trust operations a lot because one of my jobs in marketing is to find families to live in the homes. One of the things that I've seen with working with that team is that there is a lot of care and there's a lot of interest to make sure that the families are stable by the time that they move into the home.
We have a little bit of a unique approach. What we do is we really care about the families who are in these homes. Our goal and our investors' goal is not, at the end of the day, just to make money. It's to really impact and change these people's lives. So quality control is one of the most important aspects of a company. Unfortunately, not all companies actually have a quality control division.
I think one of the most valuable parts of a company is the exchange that they give to their clients. So quality control is where we make sure that that's in. When a client comes in, he expects a certain outcome from the product or the service we're giving. And the way we ensure that that happens, or the way we improve our product at each point, is through quality control.
And is that like double check for every action? For our quality control division, we have someone who actually has a lot of experience and history working with different governments and doing quality control.
We are here to recover the American dream for many and make this American dream a reality, but also to free up the investors from the speculative investment world and be able to give them the opportunity to receive fulfillment for investments, not just money. I invite you to become a philanthro investor and experience your fulfillment of growing your capital while helping others, and watch your cash flow and passive income expand, not only for you, but for your next generations to come.
All right. Hopefully you all enjoyed that. Okay, so again, testimonials that I can send out to you throughout the period, our due diligence, and I can share lots of those. These are on our websites as well. All right, let's get down to the nuts and bolts. Why you all have come here. Well, how does it work? All right, I'm going to cover each of these in greater detail here shortly. But one, the bank owns foreclosed properties. So that 50,000 properties that I was talking about, we've set up a lot of part of our secret sauce is obviously those relationships, partnerships we've set up with various entities and financial institutions, et cetera. We get access to a lot of these and preferred distribution lists. So they have those properties sitting there. So we buy the homes as is in bulk. Okay, we buy everything with cash, our own cash, own capital. We're a super healthy company. We're not willing to carry or sell anything to you unless we're willing to carry it ourselves. So we get greater discount. We just buy it for cash. We put each individual property in a standard land trust for asset protection. Again, I will cover that shortly. You purchase a minimum of 3 properties from us. These properties are deeded to the land trust, which you will now be the sole beneficiary of. I'll explain why 3. That's a question that comes up. But at that point, you become the beneficiary. We relinquish all our rights to it, and we move into the position as a trustee. We become the trustee of your property land trust for $15 a month. At our own expense, we do the minimum basic repairs of your properties, and we begin marketing them. A very strong marketing department. Pre-March, or pre-COVID, if you will, we were generating about 450 to 500 leads per week. In the past couple weeks, we were averaging about 1,200. So our marketing department is absolutely crushing it. All right, we sell your homes to families on seller financing, $1,000 to $2,000 down, and principal finance at 12% for 20 years. We charge $40 a month to manage the family relationship. So at this point, there's a family in it, 40 plus is $15 here. Our monthly property management fee, if you will, or whatever you want to call it, is $55 a month. That's our fee. Okay, no hidden anything. That is what that is. You help the families own their own homes for less than rent. They pay property taxes, they pay the insurance, they handle the repairs, they handle the maintenance, while you get the double-digit returns. Okay, so this isn't a rental situation. This is it's on a land contract. They're owning the property. You're just financing them, just like a bank, just like a bank. So they have to take care of the PITI, principal, interest, tax, and insurance. They take care of it. They make that payment to us each month. We escrow the tax and insurance money, set that aside, and we will route you your monthly distribution. Or if you're going to leave it on account because you're going to reinvest, then we do that. It's your money, your house. You just tell us what you want. All right, you recover your investment, double your net worth in 6 to 7 years. and still own your own asset, which continues to provide double-digit returns until it is paid off by the family. All right, so let's break some of those down. All right, how we buy the homes. Obviously, the different markets we've set up and things, we have vendors in those areas. And these, here you can see these inspection reports being go through here. We have internal computer systems that sift through. Keep in mind those tens of thousands of properties we're sniffing through every single week. It'll actually set those aside. We do a manual review on our acquisitions department, and we have vendors, inspectors on the ground that actually will go through those. All right, and bought lots of properties. We know what works. Again, we're on this preferred distribution list, so we get to look through those. Nationwide network inspectors. I kind of explained all these points here. Our own funds, so the risk is on us. Again, this is a system we're doing, so if a lot of these we're just going to keep. All right, prehab, what we call prehab, or the setup process. What is that? All right, so the ingeniousness of our system is that we want to utilize 100% of your capital for acquisition. Okay, we don't want to deploy that across for setup and repair and rehab. It's not, oh, you're going to pay $40,000 plus $30,000 to do a setup, et cetera, et cetera. No, it's just the capital deployment is for acquisition only. Put the family into it. We market to handymen, tradesmen, do-it-yourselfers, people that walk through there and go, "Oh my gosh, this is exactly what I want." And that's what we want. We want them to put their love into it, their sweat equity. It helps us maintain a lower default rate than the industry normal as well, plus our low house payments. All right, family qualifications. These are, again, something that we take care of. We don't do the 3 times, which is a little bit of an industry norm. We do 4 times monthly payment. We want them to be able to support their house payment with 1 week's worth of income. Okay, or if there's one of them loses a job, they can make a house payment with 2 weeks worth of income from one of them. Again, these are factors that help keep our default rate lower than might be seen in other property management companies or trustees. You have to have 2 years of on-time rental payments. Okay, we're going to call that landlord. We're going to check with them. You know, are they buttheads? Did they take care of the property? Chances are, we've discovered, back when I was renting as well, I took care of my place. You know, I'm going to do some landscaping. You couldn't keep me from doing stuff to it, or even painting painting stuff. Just because I like to keep my stuff nice. So the chances are we found the same thing when we're actually interviewing these people or talking with a landlord. If they are renters and they're keeping care of stuff, staying up to date on their rental payments as well, they're going to take, just common sense, they're going to take even better care as a homeowner. Okay. If they are self-employed, we will actually check into their, whether or not, again, we're having so many leads, so many referrals. I want to make the point that we can be picky. We can actually, good, if I get 5 applications, 10 applications, I get to look through them. I get to spend some time talking to landlords and looking at their customer reviews and seeing how they are as a person. That's, the people that we want to give a hand up to. I'm not looking to give a hand out. We're looking to give a hand up. Collection actions. Ongoing texting, email calls to families, anything involved with this, we take care of. Some of those of you or others that are involved with property management like to see some of these figures. Okay, our under 90 days late, out of the payments that are late, our under 90 is 82.8, our over 90, 17.2, default rate 6.4, which has stayed pretty normal. People ask me, so Skye, how's it been going since this whole COVID thing? I'll just call it COVID. We won't get into that conversation, but just COVID business. Well, it's been pretty steady. Our 2019 number was 6.4. And second quarter, it actually dropped to 6.2 a little bit. And in third quarter, it's pretty much sitting in that same area, 6.2, 6.4. So it's not going any higher, but still been sitting right around there. Various responsibilities. So again, this is, you are going to have to take active responsibility in deciding on the properties you want to purchase, what the family's going to do. Sometimes they will ask for a deferment. You'll have to make decisions on these kind of things. We'll just route those to you to decide on, okay? You have to pay the holding costs. It is your house. Its title is in your name, right? Or your LLC or your trust or whatever it is, whatever the structure is you have. But it's your house. So if it's empty, our average insurance, we carry insurance on all properties, is about $45. So you have to pay that $45, or the $15 a month when it's empty. That's a holding cost. You would have to pay that. And I do want to point out, silly point, but sometimes people ask, well, we're not going to handle your taxes. We'll handle the property taxes, but we won't handle your taxes. At the end of the year, we will route you a statement. It's an Excel sheet that actually shows you the income breakdown, the short-term, long-term, principal payoff, interest income received. And Darren, Tatiana can attest to that. You get it. You can hand it to your accountant. Just go here. Here's all my paper bag of receipts too. All right, our responsibilities. We acquire the best foreclosed homes. We pay for, we make the small repairs to make the home sellable. We, of course, market, we sell the homes, we research, we qualify the families, we collect the payments from the families. Of course, we send payments for the property taxes. We stay up to date on the county, state regulations, etc. Make those payments. We keep the insurance valid. We send money and reports to investors every single month. You will receive, I'm going to show you an example of this a little bit later on, but you actually have a portal. At this point, you actually have a portal that you can have access to where you can see what's going on. And but every single month, the month after, you will actually see what's been going on. We evict the families. We handle insurance claims. Of course, the family responsibilities. They have to pay the property taxes. They have to pay the insurance. They have to maintain. They have to improve the home. They have to pay for the principal and interest on the loan. Of course. All right. Now let's talk some numbers. All right, Darren, let's talk numbers. Darren was laughing at me earlier. We're talking about numbers, how much he and I like the numbers. All right. So in this scenario, our average property price right now is about $40,000. So I'm going to show you with that. In this scenario, it does fluctuate just slightly. Let's say you buy it from us for $40,000. The family buys it from you for $51,750. We market the home. We find the family, the perfect family for it. We put them in there. Our family-facing DBA is Easy Homes. Okay, website's calleasyhomes.com. Okay, that's where our inventory for families can always be found. So they buy it from you for that price. $1,000 to $2,000 down. I'll use a low figure here. So they pay $1,000 down. So they have to finance the balance, principal balance of $50,750 at 12%. All right, so the investor gets the interest plus the principal, of course, minus the fees. So that $55 a month that I was talking about, I have taken out from here. Feel free to take time, take a calculator if you want, or amortization schedule. But it's $59.70 is your net. I'm always going to talk net. I don't like talking gross. Okay, so you're netting $59.70. Family pays the taxes, the insurance, so that you as the investor pay nothing. So in this scenario, you can see, so $59.70 is your net operating income, NOI for any of those. I figure out cap rates, that's your capitalization rate. Your rate of return is 14.9% in this scenario. Okay. Now this slide I like because it also explains why 3 properties. We've discovered over our many hundreds of purchases and looking over portfolio performance, 3 is the minimum size. Our average size is about 8 properties. Okay. The larger the portfolio, the better the performance. It's our own internal diversification system. Everyone loves the word, I want to diversify, you know, well, great. We got our own internal diversification. It's number of doors problem. That's all it is. So 3 is the minimum size. In order to get, our target is a double-digit returns, okay? So our system is set up that even if, this doesn't happen anymore, but even if one property produces nothing, we still want the house payments from the others to be able, this is how the banking system's doing it. They don't sweat it. They don't worry about it. It's just number of doors will solve the problem. Okay, our overview video, some of you might have watched, kind of covers that a little bit more in detail with some drawings and stuff. But that's why 3. Okay. All right, so land trusts. Some of you might have experience with land trusts, but what are they? So it definitely is one of the best kept secrets of the largest real estate companies and investors in the world. Okay, it's a private document. So all the land trust, it's a private document. Okay, it's an entity that can own assets, like an LLC or corporation can own desks and cars and buildings. It can own things. So a land trust is the same thing. It's a private document. Your name isn't on it. Okay. They can own things. We can stick properties inside of it. Okay. The property owner is typically the beneficiary and directs the trustee in all matters relating to the management of the property. Okay. Why do we use them? All right. So obviously placing your properties in these land trusts, it allows us to be a trustee, to operate, to give you that opportunity to be a beneficiary and to provide everything that we do, everything, those responsibilities that I covered. Okay. It also provides you protection. Again, so asset protection, as I mentioned earlier, is a huge factor for us. So much so you're at the end of this presentation, you're like, oh my gosh, these guys have got like everything covered. Like, yeah, yes. So it's a two-way protection. One, we want to not only, so this is sitting here protecting you. We want to protect you from any attacks from this direction. Not that it's ever happened, but it's set up that way. Okay. Along with our insurance company, we use Lloyd's of London. There's a $1 million liability policy on every single property. So we're pretty covered. But even more than that, I personally have experience in this. It also protects the assets from attacks. What's more visible is you. Okay, a New York shark or some other shark or some whatever, bankruptcy or divorce or you're visible. Your head is out there in the guillotine. Okay, so it protects your assets. They can search all they want. So at the moment we win the bid, we immediately do trust work. A trust is created, trust PP364, blah, blah, blah. And technically, I guess if you want to consider it, that's who writes the check for that property. So the owner immediately that gets filed with the county is trust PP3645, blah, blah, blah. So that is what stays as the owner the entire time. Okay, so just like a mortgage, some of you might be familiar with the secondary mortgage market. Okay, mortgages can change hands all the time. Okay, doesn't affect you. So same thing with this. A land trust can change hands. We can reassign it to you. It doesn't affect the family in it at all and the owner. Okay, so there's that. All right. Win-win philanthropy investor program. So this is, I'll cover this just briefly. We want to make sure that this is actually a property we own. Again, quick scenario, I won't cover too much, but I do want to point out that we want it to be a win for our clients. Definite win. Here's a 20-year net, right? Annual cash flow, whatever kind of strategy you have. But it's also a win for the family. Okay, instead of getting into a rental situation with first and last, you know, they can get into buying a home from us, $2,000 down even, and monthly payment $663. Okay, so it's a huge difference for the family, huge win for the client, and we win because we get to achieve our mission statement. All right, so customer profiles, salt of the earth people here, self-employed. I'll kind of fly through some of these. Do-it-yourselfers, and they like to fix up the properties. I'll show you some before and afters that you'll be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that these are properties families want to buy. But yeah, they have to walk through them. They go through with an inspector. They go through with the GC, Uncle Bob, who's a builder, whoever, because they have to sign off on it, and they know exactly what they're getting involved with because their property's bought as is. Okay, so this here, I want to point out, this is a kitchen. Okay, I want to show you again, worst case scenarios, you might see properties like that. That is a kitchen. Okay, and this is a family walked through this kitchen and went, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I want. And this is what they did to it. That's the same kitchen right there. Isn't that crazy? So while the investor owns it, so it's usually cosmetic, some flooring and some paint. But even if this happens, we find families that want to buy it. They put love into it. They put some paint on it. It's, you know, add some lighting to the thing. They do some flooring, carpet, etc. And they own it and they love it. Okay, that's what we want them to do. You know, when you're buying it, it doesn't matter what the color of the paint is. Family's going to change it. I don't want to buy it. It's red. Like, it doesn't matter. They're going to change the doorknobs. They're going to change the paint. So Pictures of our little happy families, some of them. We got lots of those. We use Lloyd's of London. As I mentioned, one of the largest insurance companies in the world. We have our own a rep, great policy. I have people that try to get policies that cover what we do, and they just can't. I have some of our clients try to get some of their other properties insured with us because it's so good. This is a third quarter of this year. As I mentioned, our average last year was 10.12. Okay, we're doing better. Third quarter, it's just continuing to go up. Average equity gain, we're just absolutely doing fantastic. Our home sales, like I mentioned, is almost up to 28%. Doing pretty well. Look at these gorgeous people. This is a little case study, number one. I call it case study 121. Okay, these fabulous people out of British Columbia. Okay, initial investment, $167,000. Okay, first property sold within 30 days of initial investment. Can you all attest? Full portfolio sold and performing within 5 months.
Yes, yes, all true. This is ours. This is the first 3 homes that we acquired. And after 1 year, this is the results, and this is our case study. And I'm not going to lie, I was nervous at the beginning as a first-time real estate investor, but I never looked back. And now we just finished our 10th property. And I just bought 4 homes. And in the first month of the last batch I bought, they've already sold 2 of my last recent homes, already sold. So I just can't say enough. If you want to look at this graph on the bottom, it shows equity and help, my homes, the average is the green. And then it's compared to the stock market, and it's also compared to the mutual funds market. So as you can see, there's nothing more stable. There's no up and down in the sense of instability. I just wait for my report every month. I do want to mention something about if a family does get evicted. I want you to realize that Equity and Help gets another family in there as soon as possible. So once your family's evicted, and which I've experienced, and it happens sometimes, and it's not a big deal, they just get you another family. And the family who got evicted only because they went out of communication, we've given them many chances before we actually have to evict them, because generally speaking, we treat them like human beings, not like banks. And a month later, they have another family in. So all the rentals that were done by the previous family stay. All the money put in from the first family stays. We sell it to the new family. They put another deposit down, and away we go. So I don't want you to think that the word eviction is like, oh my God, that's only a temporary, and then they just fill it up with another family. I just can't say enough. So this was 3 homes, and now we're up to 10. Now my short-term goal, our short-term goal is to go to 25 homes. And my long-term goal, surely slow and steady, is 1,000 homes. Darren and I have a lot to do in this world. And I am not about to learn the ins and outs and all the mistakes about real estate investing. Hell no. They've already figured it all out. I'm going to continue doing my philanthropy and my foundation. We're going to continue doing all kinds of other things and let Equity and Help take care of it. And I just get my report every month. I just can't explain it. At first I was nervous. Now zero nervousness in relation to this type of investment. I'm actually obsessed. And the best thing is, you know what happened to me on my 6th home? I bought my 6th home. It felt like I bought it for free. Those are the areas where we own homes right now. I collected all my payments from my previous homes. I didn't touch it because Darren and I are extremely disciplined. What we do is we buy income producing assets that create cash flow. And with that cash flow, we buy more income producing assets. So home number 6 was bought with all the income of the previous homes. Something happened to my DNA when I did that. And for the first time in my life, coming from an employee background of 35 years of teaching, being told no every time I wanted to do something different, I left employee, thank heavens, the employee world, and became a full-time entrepreneur and never looked back. So I just can't say enough about this program. It's like 15 years ago, I looked up to God and I said, God, there's got to be more. And what did God do? He said, yes, there is more. And here I am today.
Also, just to mention too, that Tatiana flew down about a year ago down to Florida at her own financial expense and spent 5 days volunteering at the international headquarters for Equity and Help. As I said earlier, as Skye said earlier, they have investors now in 16 different countries and about $35 million, close to $35 million in assets under management. And Tatiana volunteered for 5 days in the international headquarters in the Tampa, Florida area as part of the due diligence. We spent 6 or 7 months, a deep dive of due diligence with lots of people, from our accountant to people in our inner circle that we had to do a deep dive on this. For those of you who know Tatiana, she's a perfectionist. She's obsessed with perfection and doing things right, and does not like making mistakes, being 3 academic degrees and a high school educator for 35 years. So she wanted to do a deep dive. So she spent 5 days volunteering at the headquarters. And to make it a step further, for those of you guys who are obsessed with due diligence, or you like numbers, you like details, Tatiana was so skeptical and pessimistic that she wanted to meet Ivan's wife. So she went and met Ivan's wife, interviewed Ivan's wife. Then, to take it a step further, if you don't mind me sharing this, Tatiana, publicly, Tatiana wanted to meet Ivan's parents from Argentina. So they flew into the United States to meet with Ivan and his wife. And then Tatiana went and spent time interviewing the parents of Ivan to find out his values, his beliefs, his mindset, his integrity, because Tatiana is the integrity belief, and asked a lot of tough questions. And just full disclosure, I'm not, just if you don't mind, Tatiana asked over 1,000 questions, in due diligence. You should write a book on this, in terms of her, because Tatiana was an employee for 35 years, high school educator, and she didn't like, she was very conservative as an employee background. And so us as entrepreneurs, we like to take risks like that. She was very conservative and very skeptical as her personality style. For those of you who do DISC profiles, Tatiana is an emerald type personality style, which her number one strength is organization. Okay, our house is cleaner than a hospital. In terms of organization. So that's the deep double we did. And so Tatiana likes to talk about things, but she doesn't tell you behind the scenes what she did for several months, and to the extent of interviewing. You think the FBI profiles people? Tatiana went even further than they did in terms of interviewing people. So, as I just want to share that with you, because Tatiana won't share it with you because that's not her personality style, but she went above and beyond in terms of due diligence and asking questions and meeting people. So just want to share that with people.
Wow.
And yeah, the last thing I want to do is, Ivan Ans, and Zulovich is his long name, from Argentina. He's only been in the United States for about 6-7 years. And he came to the United States without even speaking English. He got mentored with this idea and perfected it. And honestly, I do call him my angel on earth. We are extremely close. And Darren and I are the senior ambassadors of Canada. And we're opening Canada in the sense of bringing investors into this program. This program does not work in Canada because, unfortunately, the business model doesn't work. You cannot buy these types of homes at these prices in Canada. So it doesn't matter. It's just really nice to get a $500 American deposit, add 30% to that, and that's my Canadian investment. I mean, it's crazy. There is no catch. There is no speculation. Your capital is protected, and you're hands-off, passive, and very calm after your first experience. There isn't one person that I haven't showed this to who has liquid cash who hasn't moved forward with Equity and Help so far.
And just full disclosure, so Tatiana and I every month do a financial meeting for ourselves and our group of companies in our portfolio. We have a multi-million-dollar portfolio of investments. And we do a quarterly balance sheet meeting. We're very financially disciplined with money, Tatiana and I. We'd rank in the top 1% in people in the world for discipline in terms of focus on financially. And we've got our money right. And we've done very well financially, even with this year. And one thing that we love every month when Tatiana and I get together to do a financial meeting is that we invest about, in terms of a whole calendar month of time, about 30 minutes per month on Equity and Help in terms of looking at a report and just going through our homes and then planning and forecasting and projecting. But in terms of being a passive hands-free investor, we spend about 30 minutes a month, that's it. And Equity and Help does all the active work and heavy lifting and stuff like that. And so we're just the banks, we're passive. We like to have quality life. We like to make a difference in the world. I don't want phone calls or text messages from tenants or people like that. I don't want that headache. I just like to have my money work for me while I'm sleeping. And I like to multiply money and create generational wealth. So I'm lazy in that way. I like to be smart rather than working hard. And I like to just do things really simple and just create like beach money. There's just passive monthly recurring money with a monthly report that checks and balances doing. And that's what I like to do. So I just want to share that with everyone.
Fantastic.
So now Skye will be showing the portal, what the portal looks like for your average, for most investors.
Yes, for sure. All right, a couple other points, and then I'll get to that. So pros and cons of any investment system do exist. One of the last holes we wanted to fill was in the scenario, let's say in the scenario, family gets into the property, obviously you get cash flow, that's no problem. Or in the scenario where it burns down, we have insurance that covers any form of hazard known to man, God or otherwise, and you get paid. But what if neither one of those scenarios happened? It just sat empty. Skye, you guys are fantastic. You blah, 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 blah. But what if you guys, something happens? Well, this covers that. At the time of purchase for a 5% fee, if your home has not been performing within a year, we will swap the home and give you a new replacement home. What? Right. So I'm not sure what kind of investment systems you'll be told that, but with this is obviously can't use the word guarantee, and I would never, but with this, it definitely fills one of the last remaining holes so we want to make sure you give me $1, I'm going to be able to give you $1, or if not 1, 2, 3, 4 type of thing. So again, asset protection is huge. Assets protected. If any type of hazard happens to it, you'll get paid. If family gets in it, of course you get paid. And with this, we'll make sure you get paid. So that's, again, it's an optional feature at the time of purchase, just like any other warranty. You get a warranty on a car, you pay it at the time of when you buy it. Okay. Now we've got a lot of different statuses within our within the company, and a lot of clients, including the two that you have here, are playing for higher and higher numbers. But we have, I definitely am going for, obviously our immediate target's 10,000 families. Okay, so I'm looking for big game players. Want us to get there really fast, and that's whether it's a civilization support or 100 families, or you can see the top. Guess what? 1,000 families. Imagine supporting 1,000 families. You definitely would be a city hero. All right.
And something to consider with that too. I want everyone to be thinking about this. So those of you who have a heart of a humanitarian heart that you want to make a difference in families. What I love about this is that we're actually stabilizing families. So for those of you, if you go back to your childhood or people in your family, children may have had to move from school to school or neighborhood to neighborhood, or some of you might be able to relate to that personally. Growing up, you were in multiple different homes growing up. You went to multiple different schools. You were always changing friends every couple of years. The thing I like about the philanthro investing is that we want families to be in these homes long-term. So we stabilize a family. The children don't have to constantly keep different friends, going to different schools and dealing with bully issues, self-confidence, self-esteem issues. And also we can stabilize the families so they get a chance to live a dream and they get a chance to be a homeowner. And it also will reduce crime because they find that when people are moving around lots and kids are unstable with being settled in a home that they can call home, because every 2 years parents are moving for various different reasons, that doesn't create stability within the family. And some of you watching right now, yourself personally, you've been through this from your childhood, or somebody maybe you grew up with or in your neighborhood or community that was always changing schools. I know somebody in my network, by time from grade 1 to grade 12, she went to 23 different schools. And it's really affected her life and affected relationships, affected, staying at jobs because she doesn't trust people. There's instability. She doesn't feel safe. And so some of you, or most of us, know somebody like that that's been through this. And that's what I like about this, is that we're really making a difference in families' lives by stabilizing families. And as hands-free passive investors, we are in double-digit returns, but we allow people, because 78% of the North American population live paycheck to paycheck. 78%. 51% of the United States population do not qualify for a mortgage. Did you know right now, and these are stats from this year, from 2020, first quarter, did you know the average North American family, Canada, United States of America, the average family only has access, check this out, to liquid $400. You think about that. The average US and Canadian family has access to liquid $400. I'm not talking about using credit cards or lines of credit or going to a pawn shop or selling things on Marketplace or Craigslist or Kijiji. I'm talking about going to the ATM machine and taking out $400 liquid cash. It's the average family in North America. It's mind-boggling, and yet we live in the first world continent, and people have access to $400 liquid cash. Wow. So that's what is we can make a difference in a lot of people's lives, and that's why Ted and I are committed to building this so that we can, all of our wealth that we're building. Just so you know, we have 10 properties. We don't even touch the passive income. We don't use it for nothing. The money just sits in accounts and accumulates to buy more income-producing assets, so we can build a portfolio so we can then give it to our private family foundation called Link Foundation for generational wealth with a 250-year legacy plan. Titi and I have no children, so we've dedicated to building massive financial wealth to paying it forward as our planetary assignment to give to things. So that's what something to consider, is that when you get out of the way of yourself and you dedicate your life to a cause greater than yourself. So maybe it's thinking about your family and getting your house in order and get your money right, then get your kids' money right, and your grandkids' children money right. Then once you got that money right, what's your planetary assignment? How can you make the world a better place? And that's what I love about this. And so hopefully we touch your heart tonight that inspires you as you complete 2020 and 2021. You might want to do things a little bit differently in terms of asset allocation, in terms of what you're doing.
I want to say something quick here. We're talking big stories and big dreams, but I want to go to a small dream. So one of my families, okay, who's been incredibly performing and never skipped a payment, just in October, the wife had a heart attack. It makes me emotional. I don't even know them. So they called me and said, Tatiana, she had a heart attack. What do you want to do? Do you want to evict them? I said, hell no. This is the whole point of this program. It's the point about holding the families together, because generally speaking, we give them up to 3 months and then they can catch up. So imagine if that was your mother or that was your aunt who had a heart attack, would the bank say that? I said that. I said, no, we're not evicting her and her husband. They've been great. I'm going to help. I'm going to support them until they get back on their feet. And I don't even know them. So that's what I do. I give back. This is not a get rich quick scheme, 60 days in and out. This is about making a difference in families that are hardworking, and sometimes something bad happens. Who's going to give them a hand up? Me.
Love it. I love you, Tatiana. Absolutely awesome. That's right. So 10,000 families, that is the target. And that's the direction we're heading. Okay. Now I do want to show a couple other things here. Give me a moment while I pull this up. So let me see. Let me flip a new share.
We're not going to be too much longer, just so everybody knows. I know we've already got busy lives, so we're not going to be too much longer. And appreciate everybody being here for us to educate you and just share something with you that's dear to our hearts in terms of making a difference in humanity.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for all of you coming. Big time. Feel free to ask any questions too. There's the question and answers box for sure. Feel free to chime in and ask anything. Okay. So again, this is the tear sheet that I covered a little bit earlier. And additional to that, I want to go over real fast. That's actually what I meant to do here. Okay. These are things that I will go over with in an individual interview, or just a discovery call with whoever kind of comes in here. Let me enlarge this just a little bit. All right, there we go.
Feel free if you have any questions in regards to taxes, structuring, land trusts, any of that kind of stuff. Tatiana and Skye have a lot of experience at this. And so feel free to ask any questions that you may have.
Absolutely. So hopefully you can all see my screen here, correct?
Yeah, if you can just make it a little bit larger.
Just a little bit larger there. How is that? Is that pretty large?
It is, yeah. You can make it larger,
great.
But yeah, go ahead.
So these are some different figures I work out with clients in a strategy planning session on, what you're looking at. But it is a pretty simple, I said in that one, the schedule, 40,000 average home. Here I took like the last 12 properties we just sold, average price, and the average purchase price from the families of $50,477. So you can simply see how the annual net, obviously the monthly and the 20-year net here. The point that no matter what happens in any scenario, whether, as Tatiana hit on, whether they default at 36 months or whatever, I can show any scenario how it's a win-win for the clients or for the family, or, default case, not for them necessarily, but I've had it happen. My mom's dying. I got to move to Oregon or blah, blah, blah. Can I get out of this? And that's something that we can handle. We don't have to go through some foreclosure process or do some other ugly stuff. We just move on, and we, often, if they fixed up the property, we'll sell it to family B for more. And you're all of a sudden now you're cash flowing more, so that's what happens in that scenario. And Darren hit on, what happens in the growth if you're reinvesting. I will have to make this smaller because I can't see it on my side. And the growth is kind of program quite a few are doing. No matter what you are investing in, even if you're starting with only 5 properties, if you're investing and the portfolio growth that happens, these are strategy plannings that I can go over with you, each one of you individually, if you're interested or whatever, on, or if it's in a trust for your kids. I had a gentleman say, my son's born, I want to set it and forget it. I want to buy 3 properties. What will that look like? And that's originally why I created this Excel sheet. And then it will show him, what would happen at year 20, you'd have 96 properties. You'd be netting every month about $50,000. And so that's pretty huge, whether it's for college or whether it's for a career or whatever it is. So that's that legacy planning that you get to look at. So I did want to cover that just briefly. And so give me a moment. Let me cover back over. Stop that. So again, ask any questions as we're going through this. Okay. Where did...
We got some questions in the chat there.
That's good. I'm taking care of it.
Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, I see she's on it. Okay, so again, so that is the target. So at the end of this webinar, you will be directed to a page. I want you to look over the information. If you want to move forward, it'll actually direct you to to schedule a call with myself or to continue to due diligence. Again, my job is through the due diligence period. The first action step is filling out a questionnaire, an account application, as it says here. But the action steps, if you were moving forward, would be pretty simple. The account application form, you'll see, you open it, which will open up that account. You'll fund an escrow account. It's not part of our operational accounts. It's just like buying any property. It kind of sits off to the side. You get to pick the properties. We buy them, we set them up, but you get to pick through them and go shopping, if you will, and in all the different areas that they're in. And once you buy them, then we get busy getting families in it and marketing them and doing all the stuff, the awesomeness that we do. And you just collect those returns that Darren and Tatiana were talking about. So again, I want to thank all of you for coming today. Are there any questions that we need to answer, Tatiana?
Yes, I've answered them all already, the ones that did come through.
Okay.
Do you pay for the repair the tenant put in if they don't buy or get evicted? No. The family comes in, they're the ones that come up with the money to actually do the repairs and the renovations. The investor does not pay for the renovations at all. What's good about that is then the families then have skin in the game. That's what's so amazing about it. They have skin in the game. What tenant wants to put in $10,000, $5,000 of renovations and then trash the place? I mean, that just doesn't happen. Unfortunately, there are some people who have come into some homes and actually started. There was one home where the family came in, paid for the roof, changed the roof, defaulted, and had to leave. Yep. So no, we then do not have to pay for those renos. No, it's the family who, and that's why it makes it a win-win situation all around.
Yeah. Did that answer that question, Sue? Okay, any other questions? I'm going to end off here in just a moment. I want to thank you all for coming. If you have any additional questions, you have my email address. Feel free to reach out to myself, to Tatiana, to Darren. And I had a fantastic time. Darren, thank you for being here. Tatiana, thank you very much for being here as well. All right. And again, when I end off here, you will be directed to a page that you can look at some other information and proceed forward. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you very much, Lev. You're very welcome. Good to see you.
Skye, I was wondering, we were talking about showing them that landing page and the option of actually booking an appointment, or perhaps actually moving with the application. I was really interested in moving forward with that to show the group of people.
Okay, absolutely. They will see that in a, let me just bring that up really quick. And then we'll go ahead and end off. Share. All right, you can see my screen here. Let's get rid of all this stuff. All right, so this is the page that you will be directed to, and have some information about the system, some case studies, our founder, of course, you know, how we produce the results. Go ahead and look through that information. All right, feel free at the very end of it. Again, there's the testimonial. There's on our YouTube channel, there's 3 or 4 or 5 more of those that you can look at. You can download a report, which is a digital information pack. Schedule a one-on-one call. You just click there and it'll come to me. Schedule a call with me. Okay, I'd love to talk with you all. Next step, if you do want to progress forward, doing that qualifying interview and opening up the account, you would click there. And that is what you're going to be seeing here momentarily. Okay. Thank you all for coming tonight. Again, reach out to me if you have any questions, okay?
Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks for listening to learn about philanthropy, real estate investing.
Okay. Good night.
Good night,
Bye-bye.
everyone.